Good morning, everyone. Welcome to an episode of Coffee Break with Card, La Hora del Cafecito's new sister show. My name is Lourdes Quinones, and I would like to welcome you to the show. Coffee Break with Card is a program dedicated to all those in our community who are living with autism, to their family members, and to all those who support them. So come in, join us at the table, sign in the comment section below, and let us know if you're drinking your cup of coffee with us. We'd love to say hello to you. In today's program, we would like to talk to you about the main agency you should know about if you're starting your autism journey so that you're well informed. We know that receiving a diagnosis of autism very often is a time when many people don't know where to get started. Sometimes it catches you by surprise. And so we like to come today and bring you some information that will inform you or maybe someone that you know. All right. So join us. We have a lot to talk about. But before we get started, let's start out by introducing to you our coffee break hostesses. As I mentioned before, my name is Lourdes Quinones. I'm a card consultant assigned to the primary age group. And professionally, I am a pediatric physical therapist, as well as a special education teacher. I am joined by my colleagues, Jasmine Castellano. Buenos dias, Jasmine.
Buenos dias. Good morning, everyone.
Olivia McDonald. Buenos dias, Olivia.
Good morning.
Our friend Magaldana can join us today. Her kids woke up not feeling well, so we sent her all love and hope to see her next week. Hope everybody gets better, Maggie. Anyway, Jasmine Castellano is an excellent professional in the field of mental health. She is a card consultant assigned to the middle and high school age groups, and is the mother of 3, one of whom is diagnosed with autism. Welcome, Jasmine.
Thank you, Lourdes.
Olivia McDonald is an excellent professional in the field of public health. She is a card consultant assigned to the primary age group, just like me, is the mother of a beautiful baby boy, and has a younger brother diagnosed with autism. Welcome, Olivia.
Thank you, Lourdes.
And before we get started, let's review the rules by which we want to adhere and then during this programming to ensure that we have a safe environment for all of us. Remember to keep an open mind and a positive attitude and to use respectful language. Jasmine, do we have someone to say hello to before we get started?
Yes, we have with us Lakeisha Shipman Hines. And she also posted on our website, supportforcaregivers.org.
Awesome. Good morning, Lakeisha. Thank you for joining us. All right. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Okay. So, as I mentioned before, in today's program, we're going to be talking about the main agencies that you should know about if you're starting your autism journey. So, we want to keep you well informed about where to get started in this journey. Okay, so join us and let's get started. Jasmine is multitasking.
Yes, I was waiting for here we are. So, Lourdes, is there a specific agency that parents will have first contact with when they learn or suspect that their child is not developing typically?
Yes, so this is a very complex question because it really depends on the age at which the delay is detected. Okay. So, for example, if the baby is between the ages of 0 to 3 years old, then the Early Steps program is the one that you should become familiar with from the beginning. That'll be next slide, please. So the Early Steps program, it's really for babies, like I said, between the ages of 0 to 3 years of age. And they come into this program for one of 3 reasons, typically. Number one, they are either born with some sort of anomaly that is visible and is caught at the time of birth. For example, a physical anomaly or some sort of chromosomal or genetic disorder, for example, like Down syndrome, something that is physical, that is visible, or maybe some prematurity that they're able to catch at the time of birth. Not all babies who are premature get referred to early steps programs, but they should. And because we anticipate that babies who are premature are at a higher risk of falling behind in meeting their developmental milestones. So typically they do. But just to say, in the case of Jasmine, for example, her daughter was premature and did not get referred to early steps. So there are exceptions to the rule, but typically they do. So that's one way that they might get referred to early steps, and it starts from the moment of birth. The second one might be because, let's say that they were not born with something that was physical, physically visible, or around the time of birth, like prematurity. So let's say they went home and now the parents, the caregivers, or the pediatrician are noticing that the baby is not developing well. So maybe they're realizing that something is afoot here, right? So they might just say, let's refer them to early steps program. And by the way, anyone can refer a child to early steps program, and we're going to be providing the link to their website so that you can find out how to go about referring that. So if you suspect, you don't have to technically go to the pediatrician. You should. We recommend that you do. But technically, if you have one of those doctors, pediatricians that are wait and see kind of doctors, and you strongly feel that no, something is not right here, you are welcome to make the referral yourself. Okay, so don't wait for a physician to do it. You can do it yourself. Caregivers can do it themselves. Okay. Then the other way by which a child might, between the ages of 0 to 3, might end up in the early steps program might be because of any sudden incident that causes them to have a change in their developmental status. And this is really something like maybe they got hit by a car, a near drowning incident, or perhaps an illness that took their motor skills, like high fever is very often. Fevers are very common way by which a child might end up that way. This is why it's so important to monitor your child's fever and not let them sleep by themselves at night when they have a fever. So this might be some of the ways by which a child between the ages of 0 to 3 end up in this program.
And Lourdes, for the children who are over 3 but not yet in school, and the parents suspect something is wrong, or they just want to make sure that everything is going well, which agency should they go to for services?
Okay, so great. So again, this is beyond the age of 3. Let's say that they made it out of the age of 3. There was no referral. And parents either just want to check in and say, I wonder if my child is developing well. They're not yet in the public school system. And so they just want to check to see that everything is okay. Or maybe after the age of 3, maybe it's the first time they're going out into perhaps a daycare, or maybe a family member comments that something is not right, or maybe the family starts realizing that their child is falling behind in their skills, and they just want to check and make sure. That would be the Early Childhood Council. This is they provide services across the counties, and one of the greatest things that they do is that the screenings happen in different areas of town. You can check out their website and download their schedule of screenings to find out what's more convenient for you. Those are free screenings. They work hand in hand with the Child Find programs, the Fiddler's Child Find program. We're going to be talking about them in a moment. so their job is just to provide the screenings and to work hand in hand with Child Find to make sure that everything is okay. And if not, to refer you to Child Find so that the child can be identified as needing services that will prepare them for school or not needing them. Okay, so again, we are going to be providing their link to their website and their phone number. But just to mention that these are free. This is a free program, and anyone can access these services. And some of the screenings include, for example, hearing, vision, gross and fine motor skills, among others. And so if the child that passes the screen, then doesn't, that's it. They go on their way. There's, nothing more you can do. But if they don't pass the screening, then they're referred to the Child Find team for further assessment. And then they will take it from there. And again, we're passing on that information to you, how to register for those screenings.
Yeah, and then Lourdes, I know you're kind of giving the specific example for Hillsborough, but there are similar groups in all of our other counties who are then referring over to Child Find.
Yes.
Perfect. And Lourdes, can you tell us about Child Find services?
Okay, so as I already mentioned, Child Find is part of FDLRS, which stands for Florida Diagnostic Learning and Resources Systems. Now, the Child Find teams are made up of social workers, psychologists, and speech and language pathologists. FDLRS is the agency that oversees all the services that are provided throughout the school system. So they make sure that the IDEA services are provided as mandated by the government, right? So this is definitely a page that you want to be and always keep up with. They provide a lot of information for parents. This is where you're going to find out a lot of information about IEPs and your child's rights, a lot of information about how to help your child in school. But going back to Child Find, the professionals who are involved in this assessment, once the child, let's say the child didn't pass the screen and they were referred to the Child Find team. So this team of professionals then chooses, depending on the need that was determined from the screen, they were going to choose the necessary tests to determine their strengths and their areas of needs, right? So depending on the results of those tests, they are going to make a determination to try to figure out the eligibility of the child for services, and then we'll put together a meeting for an eligibility meeting with the parents, right? So they're going to determine whether or not the child meets the eligibility criteria to receive services in the school setting. If the child is eligible to receive services, then the team will then decide what's the best setting for the child and what kind of services the child should receive in that setting, right? If the child doesn't meet the criteria for eligibility, or does not, it turns out that no, everything is fine, he or she really doesn't need the services, then the child moves on and goes on their merry way until the age of 5, when it's time to enter the school system, as they would have any other time. Okay. So that's basically how they do it. And so in this map that is on the screen, you would see that the whole Child Find process starts with, for example, calling to set up your appointment, the appointment for that early childhood council screening, that ECC screening. And so that's the orange car. the blue bus tells you, well, you took the test, and let's say that in the screening, let's say in the screening, the child passes, they go on to that exit ramp. Bye-bye, no problem. They go on their merry way. Let's say the child does not pass, it's that yellow car, then they will be referred to a child find team, who then schedules an assessment and evaluation for the child. And depending on whatever it was that they found the needs were. And then after the assessments are done, then they schedule a team eligibility meeting where they discuss with the parents the findings, and they determine whether the child met the criteria for eligibility. And again, if it was determined that the child did not meet criteria for eligibility, then is bye-bye. The child just moves on and gets off the ramp. But if it was determined in the meeting that the child did meet the criteria, then the best setting for the needs of the students are determined, the school that the child will be placed in, and the services the child will receive in the school setting are determined, and he or she starts receiving services at that point, whether that's at the age of 3, the age of 4, whatever age it was when the child came in. And that's basically the child find process.
Are there any other agencies that you want to share?
Yes, and I'm not going to go too much into them, but I did want to say again, because at the beginning of the year, we always want to start out thinking, okay, it's the beginning of the year. Let's think of the beginning of the autism journey. But I also wanted to say about the child find before we will move on to the next thing, and I forgot to say that, was that child find is also responsible for finding children at any point beyond the 3 to 5. Okay, so your child might be in high school, it might be in middle school, and they're still responsible for finding your child's needs. Okay, just so you know that. This is why it's important also for you to know about and to keep up with fiddlers and the IDEA laws. Okay, because this is a responsibility that they have. Child find goes on, okay, as long as they're in school. Okay, so let's now move on beyond school, and let's say that at any point you feel that you need services, legal services for your loved one with disability. In Florida, we have Disability Rights Florida, which a group that we interviewed here at Laura del Cafecito and also at Coffee Break with Cards. So if you're interested in seeing our interview of one of the lawyers for Disability Rights Florida, be sure to go into our YouTube channel and look for our past episodes. Our playlist in English is our Coffee Break playlist. And so go ahead and look into that and look for Disability Rights Florida interview. They provide free services. You have to register your loved one. They don't call you. They don't look for you. So be sure that you go on their website, read up on what services they provide and how they provide those services, so that you can access them if you ever need them, and you know what is available for you free of charge. So that's one of the agencies. The next one that I wanted to touch on is a family network on disability, which is, again, like us throughout the state of Florida. They provide many, many resources and educational programs for parents and caregivers that can be very helpful, okay, and informational. So be sure to go in their page as well and be informed. Find the page that is in your area. Like I said, they are in different areas, like we are, like CARD is. So be sure to find the one in your area and find out what's available. They have a YouTube channel as well. They have many in-person and online resources available to you. And again, it's all disabilities but very great resource as well. Okay, so that's another one I wanted to share with you. And then the next one. And then I wanted to really share this one here, Hot Docs program. We also interviewed someone from Hot Docs program, our friend Christina. And I really wanted to share this one because one of the biggest things that we always get from parents is management of behavior from their loved ones. And behavior is such a big issue, especially with our little ones and our loved ones with autism. And this program is amazing because it teaches and empowers parents about positive behavior supports and how to utilize those strategies in the home setting. And there's also a place where parents can make other connections with other parents. So it really helps them to build a tribe of parents that are going through the same situations, but more importantly, build those skills that they really need that are going to be needed in the future. I always tell families, your child might be a little one right now, but when they get older, they're going to be 200 pounds. And, we're more fragile as we get older, weaker, and our loved ones are stronger and bigger. And we might be able to manage them now, but as their behaviors escalate, we might not be able to manage them anymore. And it's really, it's more empathetic, and it's more behooves us better and them to get the skills and earn the skills and learn the skills that will help us manage their behaviors in a way that is positive and empathetic. So I really recommend this program to you. So that's it. Those are the programs that I really wanted to share for today. So thank you for sharing that. All right. So anyway, for those of you watching, if you have any questions, even if you have questions after we go off the air, just make sure that you leave the comments in the comment section below. We're always monitoring those. We'll be sure to answer your questions. And perhaps if we don't answer them in a comment section, we might create a program in the future. And if we do, we'll be sure to give you credit for creating those programs in the air. We'll give you credit. But anyway, Jasmine, talking about comments, do we have any comments at this point?
No, we don't have any other comments.
All righty. Okay. So we're almost at the end of the show, but I didn't want to leave without, first of all, thanking Sylvia for helping me put this together. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And also, I wanted to let you know that next week, we are going to be interviewing Morenike Giwa Onawi. She's an autistic mother, author, educator, self-advocate, among many other things. And she's going to be talking to us about her experience as an autistic mother, and is going to be giving us advice and hope for other autistic people who are contemplating becoming parents or who are already autistic parents. So be sure to join us. She is a wonderful advocate and a wonderful speaker. So you'll enjoy it. I know you are. We have had her in the program before. So anyway, that brings us to the end of the show. But before we go, as always, I wanted to ask you for a little favor, and that is, please be sure to go in the link that we're going to post on the comment section below, so you can evaluate us and let us know how we're doing. If this is type of programming something important and of value to you, this is the way that we can justify the time that it takes us to put together this type of programming and to be on the air with you. Darcy, hi, Darcy. Yes, I know, having Morenike in the show, I know. We're sure to be here. Anyway, that brings us to the end of the show. But before we go, make sure to give us a like, share our page on your page, and with anyone that you know would benefit from this type of content. And be sure to save every Friday around 10:45-ish around here. And be sure to be here with us so we can spill the beans on important topics related to autism. But until then, we wish you good vibes and hot coffee.
coffee.
See you next time. Bye-bye. Have a great weekend.